So what is push hands and how is it used in Tai Chi for
Some
couples?
people might never heard of push hands. What is that?
Push hands for Tai Chi Chuan practitioners can be many things. You don't want to hear about the first time that I saw pushing hands.
Tell the story.
What is the push? What does the push symbolize? Sometimes Tai Chi pushing hands practice can be called sensing hands. Sometimes it could be called communication training or communication hands. So the push represents the interaction, the interface with force, where now you are called upon to bring out your theory, your philosophy, and utilize that so that you don't push back, you don't meet force with force, and you don't fight back. So, pushing hands skill training for Tai Chi Chuan is to learn how to receive force, neutralize it, and redirect it.
It's kind of like if an energetic is experienced by you as a push, how can you respond skillfully to it? That's what it seems like to me.
In Tai Chi Chuan practice, you cultivate an internal and an external posture, structure, sense of being, and then you take that and you apply pressure on the structure. You apply pressure to strengthen it, and you apply pressure so that you can build resilience with all of your internal systems to more force as life continues to put load, stress, and pressure upon you.
And as you like enter further reaches of your challenge zone too, or expand your challenge zone, you might just it just yeah, it might be experienced as a heavier push, but
Mhm.
you're testing for like weaknesses or areas of growth, basically,
Yeah.
to uh, solidify your center, your root,
Mhm.
and your structure, like to make your help make your structure more sustainable, both physically and mentally,
Mhm.
as well. Um,
Balance.
mhm.
Tai Chi, Chuan, and push hands put you in a place where you're practicing balance and balancing of forces.
Mhm.
So balance is key because pushing hands
I hear harmonizing when you say balance.
push hands de- put you in a place where you destabilize, feel a sense of imbalance so that you can restore balance as we read earlier. Now, psychologically, emotionally, life has that, and conflict and stress has that effect that can destabilize you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
you
that
build that.
always happens though, right?
What?
You feel slightly destabilized anytime there's change, anytime there's a new experience. Like that just comes naturally as you're living.
And in the Tai Chi Bible, it says, when you are in an urgent position, sink and twist. In the Tai Chi scriptures, an urgent position is that includes being off balance or destabilized. To restore your balance, physically sink your center and rotate and twist. So what that means is when there's a sense of destabilizing off balance, you drop a root, you drop an anchor to what you know. You find a root to what you know. You find a basis. You find a base of, and a foundation in the physical sense in Tai Chi. You find your legs because you're standing on your legs. In terms of emotion or stability, what is your emotional root? What's your psychological root that you can find home in? That's why Some people see it as a spiritual practice. Deep in my heart and deep in my sense of being, in my soul, I find root, I find base and power. So I go in and I pray or I meditate. And that's how I drop and anchor and root and find balance when I'm in an urgent position.
Is this where we use the term centering interchangeably? Is push hands part of push hands is the centering
Yeah.
aspect of it, right? Which means just um, making sure that your center is has integrity
Yeah.
during the exercise.
And knowing where your center is and knowing how to respond. So pushing hands teaches us about responding, not reacting,
Without losing your center.
without losing your center, and responding when you feel off center.
And we have to admit that just because you're in an intimate, long-term relationship in a couple does not mean that you and your partner might have different ideas at
Yeah.
times, and that those ideas and intentions and energetics don't come into tension with one another or are in opposition. And so learning how to manage those energetics where another person's ideas or actions might be perceived by you as a push. How do you respond to that push that you experience in a way that maintains harmony, that restores harmony, that allows you to stay within your own integrity and the way that you want to show up in the world? Um, and so Push Hands gives us the answer to all these questions because it is the response of the harmonious path, of the path of nature. And we talk about yielding as being one of these principles, where if you feel an incoming push, the first thing you do is that you want to give yourself the space and time to respond and not react. And so you do that by allowing that to happen, listening for a while to that energetic and giving that push some space to be. And um, and so we do that in the physical activity, mentally as well. And that is a habit that we try to ingrain through this practice. And so yielding, if you habituate yielding as a strategy, you prevent yourself from something called double weighting, which is something that we try to avoid in the push hands practice because that is meeting the push with a push, force with force. And that's when you have tension, that's when you have stagnation, that's when you have more adversity, stuckness.
In martial arts, it could be a break of bones or of tissue when you meet force against force. So soft skills comes into play and into practice here.
So that's just one of the many principles that we borrow from push hands that also inform our partner practice in couples Tai Chi, the Qigong of relationship.
The last thing I'll say is mental health is a huge topic of discussion here. Tai Chi Chuan, yoga, other embodiment practices are considered bottom up approaches to mental health. Bottom up meaning from the body to the mind and brain, starting regulation at the body level so that it impacts and brings the well being into the brain and the mind. So, again, with this idea, doing these partner practices like pushing hands now has this co regulated, dual cultivation, bottom up approach towards mental health and mental well being.
You're training relaxation even under the pressure as well. So that's another benefit, where you are embodying relaxation even in a situation that's literally putting some pressure
Mhm.
on your system.
Yeah.
Shall we go to the next page?
Let's turn the page.
Let's turn the page.